What's going on YouTube? So this week's install is actually kind of giving me a little bit of a headache so far. I'm doing the Downforce Solutions Rear Defuser install, and please don't mind the washer and dryer in the background. They're the only ones we have in our building. But anyway, so this install actually I was thinking was going to be a whole lot easier than it is so far, and surprisingly, it's been really difficult so far. The way that they're supposed to bolt up and the way that they're supposed to install seems pretty straightforward when you're thinking about it, but when it actually comes down to the application and actually installing it, it's actually a lot harder than I thought. So I'm going to show you guys exactly what I'm talking about here in 2 seconds, but this diffuser is the version 5 that they came out with a little bit ago. Got a great deal on it. I'm not complaining about the product. The product's very well made. It's just the install of it. It doesn't come with any instructions. And looking at it, it looks like it's gonna have to be modified. I'm gonna have to drill my own holes. And I'll show you guys what I'm talking about when installing the centerpiece. The outside pieces, so far, I've had to remove the rear bumper, not fully remove the rear bumper, just disattach it, if that's even a word. Anyway, take it off the quarter panel, and kind of have more room to get in there and tighten the bolts and nuts that they give you. So I'm going to show you guys exactly what I'm talking about, and I'm going to take you guys along on the ride for installing this piece, just in case you guys have one and have ever wondered what it's like or what it takes to install one of these. I'm doing that right now, and I'll show you guys the process. Okay, so just for reference, because I wanted to show you guys how to properly install this thing, I already did the passenger side piece. As you can see, it sits pretty well on there. I mean, I did have to take off the rear spats that I had on there before, that I've had on there for years. So it does take the place of that. I mean, it doesn't look bad. Like I said, it's a very good product, but the install is just a lot more of a pain than I first thought. So you have that piece, then you have the center piece right there, which I'll go over here in a second. And then you have this piece over here that I'm about to install and show you guys kind of the way I did it. Now, I don't know if that's the way to do it. Like I said, there's no install instructions. And currently with the coronavirus going around right now, their website is down, so I'm not even able to email them to find out if there is proper instruction on how to install this thing. So like I told you a second ago, I took the bumper and just loosely took it off of the quarter panel. And for the centerpiece, I will have to drill holes. Now, you see these 2 holes here? This one here goes in place of where the center clip is. It goes about right there. This one here is supposed to be used with those straps. Now, what kind of got me questioning everything is that there's no holes in the back. So the only mounting points would be towards the rear of the bumper, and that makes kind of no sense to me, because how is this section here gonna not like do this when it's driving, or have wind come up and pull it down? It just kind of made no sense to me. So I'm gonna disregard these holes here. I'm gonna install those straps, and I'm gonna drill my own holes here in the back, so that way it's stable all around. So, and if I gotta add, I don't know, a couple self-tappers here and there, we'll see. I don't think I will, but just in case. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started on the install on this side and show you guys exactly what I had to do to install the end piece, and then we're gonna start tackling the centerpiece. Okay, so working on the passenger side, I was able to get the bolts up in there and just trying to get them started. Another one of the little gripes that I've had is these are size 11 millimeters. And thankfully enough, I had an 11 mil quarter-inch socket, or else I'd have been screwed again. But I kind of wish they would have came with a standard 10 or 12, whatever, just a little gripe that I have about it. But, taking off the bumper from the quarter panel gives you enough space to get in here and get the bolts in there. Now, the problem that I came across too is the fender liner piece. The clips, originally the clips that go on the rear bumper, come up from underneath and go through the fender liner in order to hold it in place. The way that I'm doing this and the way that I'm installing it, I can't put clips back in there. So on the other side, I was able to push the holes up over the bolts that have been going through the top, just to hold it in place. Now it's not gonna, it's not gonna fly off the road. I've got the rock blocks pieces here that, obviously have seen better days since I've installed them like 3 years ago. They're gonna hold on the fender liner and everything that nature, but it's just another gripe that I had kind of with this set is once you get this piece in here, you really can't get your hands up there to tighten the bolts. So the only way so far that I've come across you're just doing my own thing is, you know, loosening the bumper so that way you can, you know, pull the bumper out and have enough space to get the bolts tightened. That's the only way that I can see doing that. So like I said, there's a lot of things in this kit that I don't like so far. I like the look, I like the durability. Just the install of it is just a whole lot more difficult than I thought. So I'm gonna tighten these up, and I'll show you guys kind of how I did it. But then we're gonna move on to the centerpiece and hopefully not have a huge amount of trouble with that centerpiece. All right, so I got the two sides done, got the bumper reattached, and at least on this side, got the rock blocks piece back in as well. So those outer pieces weren't the issue. It's gonna be the centerpiece. So I'll show you guys what I'm talking about in a minute, because I gotta get underneath the car and I'll show you where they're supposed to hook up to. But yeah, I mean, not gonna lie, I've always wanted to do a rear diffuser on the car. I'm happy to be doing a rear diffuser. It's just the install that was kind of the pain in the ass. But I've got the two outers done. We'll reattach everything on this side real quick before I start on the centerpiece. So I'm gonna do that real fast, and then we will get into the centerpiece of this install. So I'm gonna be completely 100% real with you guys. I started this probably about 1 o'clock, and now it's 6 o'clock. No lie. I watched a bunch of other videos from people who were installing rear diffusers, and the hardware that I was given with this, it just was not going to work. Now, I mean, if I'm doing it wrong, somebody please tell me in the comments. But what I did, because a lot of other people just did this, they took one of the bolts and they put one of the lock washers with it, and or one of the lock nuts, and put it up from the top, so that way they can be fed in through the holes here. Now, earlier I was thinking that these holes were both going to be used with the stock locations of the clips. So there's like one there, and then there's a clip up there. So I thought they were going to be used with those. Come to find out, the distance between this hole and this hole is off, and it wouldn't allow me to use it. So that's when I came up with this idea that I got from a couple other YouTubers who put these rear diffusers on. So I did that, and it ended up lining up with this hole here and that hole there. Now, all I needed to do was figure out the backside. So let me get up under here real quick and I'll show you what I did. So there is the strap that they give you. Now, I thought it was supposed to go into that other hole and go into that bolt right there, but I don't think it does. I tried and it just wasn't working. So what I did is I positioned it there as best I could. Now this thing is, you know, pretty thin metal. You can move it around, position it wherever you need to. So I did that. And then what I did was I just took a drill with a drill bit and made my own custom hole. So I'm gonna put this into place back on the bottom of the car. I'm gonna line up this hole here with that little strap and see how that works. The thing is that if this wasn't, or if that strap wasn't in the back of this thing, it was like, it wasn't sitting flat, it was sitting up like this. It was really weird, and I like it, the look of it kind of looking like it's sitting right here on the ground, even. So that's why I did the strap the way I did. That's why I did the hole the way I did. I'm gonna go ahead and get this in position and see how I like it. If I have to drill another hole, I have to drill another hole. I mean, that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that real quick, and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about once I have it all bolted up, because then I have to do the other side. Okay, so I've got all the holes drilled. I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing on the car. Hopefully everything is, say what's up. Hello. Anyway, so I'm gonna try to get this back on the car. Hopefully everything lines up perfectly and is even. I know a second ago I had this thing up there with one of the straps on, and it was kind of, you know, awkward a little bit. So I'm gonna, hopefully with these two straps, it evens it out. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this going. I'm gonna try to do a time lapse. I should be having a tripod coming in here pretty soon. So I'm gonna do a time lapse real quick and go from there. So let's get this thing on. I wanna get this thing done. So now that I'm back from underneath the car, I've got all of it installed fully and fully tightened down. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up basically. Oh shit, I brought a bunch of clips. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap this up, get the tires back on, get it on the ground, and I'll show you guys what it looks like when I am fully done and back on the ground. But let me just tell you real quick, if you're planning on doing one of these diffusers, I hope that you guys get install instructions. That's my one gripe with this thing, you know, just doing custom stuff and doing DIY and making your own like brackets or drilling holes and stuff. It's not a big deal, but you shouldn't really have to. And you know, it's a first world problem that I had to do that stuff today, but it's fine. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get this tightened up, tires back on, and take a video of it on the ground. And there is the end result. I absolutely love it. With a little bit of modification, I was able to get it sit correctly, sit flush, and you know, it ain't going nowhere now. Before, like I said, it was iffy using both those bolt holes at the front with having no support in the rear, but with doing a little bit of modification, I was able to get that to sit perfectly still and very strong on there. So I absolutely love the what happened with it. I love the look of it. I love everything about it. So here's another video, guys. Thank you so much for the likes, comments, and the new subscribers. And like once again, I'll have more stuff coming here shortly. Thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful day. Have a great weekend. And I'll talk to you guys again soon.